Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to thy channel. Happiest of Saturdays to everybody. I am Mrs. Best, and we are here to do our weekly recap of Love After Lockup. This episode was funny. I laughed most of it. We're going to get right on into it. Shout out to the replay gang. I appreciate anybody who watches when we're no longer live. It means the world. Like the video, share the video, subscribe if you really like us. Let's get into it. Now, we're going to start with Shantae and True. Now, some of these were spoilers that, according to Amber, had dropped on her channel like a couple weeks before the season had even started. But we see that Shantae has pulled off crying, and True finds her, gets into the car, and she don't want him to get into the car. And he talking about, can we just be friends? And she's like, no, we cannot be friends. You know, she's feeling played. And overall, she ends up breaking down being around him. And fast forward, a little bit of time has gone by, and we see Shantae going with her 19-year-old daughter who is pregnant. Hot mess. And this is where Shantae tells her daughter and her friend that she is pregnant as well. Not only is Shantae pregnant, but she is pregnant with twins. And she has not told True at all. And she's already 14 weeks. So she's been pregnant for a while. And she says that the way she found out was she passed out at work on a ladder. And when she went to the ER, when she was in the emergency room, that's how she found out she was pregnant. So it don't sound like she had too many symptoms, which would make sense because she already has 4 children. Now, Shantae finally does call True to let him know what's going on, and she learns that he's been roommating with a female friend, and she's kind of looking at him with the side eye for that because it's like, dang, you found a female just that fast. Now, the update on True is that his mom kicked him out. When he wasn't living with Shantae, he went to live with his mama, and his mom kicked him out because Keisha, aka the other Shantae that we saw him flirting with in the previous episode, she got mad at him about something and called his mom, telling her all sorts of lies, which I don't know if I fully believe. But then again, I can't trust the other Shantae because she was willing to talk to him when he had somebody else. So to me, they both getting what they deserve. Now, Shantae lets him know she's pregnant with twins. And he's like, ain't no way it could be mine, you playing with me, until she says it's 14 weeks. Then he's like, I'm going to have to come down there. Because 14 weeks ago, he was getting out. And they did sleep together. And it only takes one time. There must have been the divine intervention. So he going to come down there. She don't really want him to come down there because he don't know if she wants him involved in the baby's life, which he is very immature. I don't blame her, but I think he has a right, if he wants to try to be a father, to be a father. But we gonna see if he comes down to see her. She don't want him to. But that's pretty much it that happened with Shantae and True. Do me a favor and like the video if you haven't already. Big ups and shout out to our replay gang, those who watch us when we're no longer live. Let's get into Zaria and Troy, the hot mess that they are. Now, Troy's mama is having a spiritual moment while high off the Delta 9 gummies, okay? And the mama's just giggling, tripping, crying, all of that up in the church. And I'm looking like these people don't know how to act at church. The mom is tripping. And then on the other side of Zaria, you got her son and Troy showing off muscles to each other. I'm like, this is not the time for this. Tell that boy to pay attention to the preaching or something. They had to have been going for super long, though, because everybody just seemed distracted. Now, at the end of church, the mama said, because they got to singing, she said, okay, now they just dragging it out. And she got up and she left. I was cracking the hell up. I was hollering. Her and her edges, she got out of there. They left. Now, Troy follows her out, and the lady's just laughing, talking about she took 3 gummies and she is toe up from the flow up. She said she high as hell. I was cracking up. And essentially, the parents do eventually meet Karen, even though she started tripping and didn't want to meet them. They weren't judgmental at all. They were very kind to her. The mom said she would pray for her. And that's when the season kind of turned a little bit for these two. That's when we were reminded that Zaria's parents expect and want Troy to become a minister in the church, which is strange. And word on the street is these aren't even her blood parents. These are just some people that she's very close to, which is beautiful either way. But why do they want him to become a whole minister? They don't even got nobody sitting up in the church. There's nobody in the church. If you don't believe me, look at the thumbnail of this video. There was nobody in the church except for the camera crew, all of about two, maybe three people, and the family on stage playing the instruments and preaching. There was nobody in that doggone church. Okay. Now, Troy don't want to preach. He made it very clear he does not want to preach. It's not something that's in his calling. He says that he plans to do stuff, but preaching is not the thing that he plans to do. So I don't see nothing wrong with that. I don't think the parents should have a say so in what he does, especially the fact that he is a married man. He's a grown ass man. So they can want him to preach, but they just need to be happy he coming to church. Celebrate the small wins, y'all. The small wins. Now, next couple we're going to discuss is Kim and Joey. Not much happened this episode. I am breezing through. I just realized that. Kim and Joey are the toxic hot mess express, in my opinion. Her dad thinks that he's a thief because he allegedly stole a bike from 15 years ago. And Kim has trust issues so bad that she gifted this man a car but put air tags on it. Talk about it. She see him go places he not supposed to be. It's going to be a problem. So I don't foresee this going well. And she's got small kids that are bad as hell. Okay. I understand smaller kids are, sometimes you can't get them to like do what you would older kids because they're smaller, but her kids are bad or hell. She has no control over those kids and she needs to do better because he needed a breather. And he finally returns back and she asking him where he's at. And I'm like, girl, why are you asking where he's at? Since you over here bragging about the air tags, check them to know where he went. So they pretty much move on from that. And then the family comes over. His mother, his sister comes over. And we learn a little bit more about Joey. His sister explains it was a struggle to have him on drugs, how she gave him money and he would use it for drugs instead of the things that he said he actually wanted to use it for. I mean, it was actually really sad. You could tell that she's disappointed and impacted. And I actually think they could benefit from therapy. But Kim is nervous about her dad coming. And the dad arrives, and I was actually surprised because y'all know he'd been accusing Joey of being a thief. But he was very polite. He's like, nice to see you again. All these people have known each other for decades. But Joey ends up proposing to Kim with a new ring. Like it looked like somewhere in between the kitchen and the like family room, which was different. She accepts the ring. It looks like he had help from his mama. And the dad pulls him outside. And and the dad says to Joey, he wants to see him working. He wants to see him taking care of her kids and the family. And the dad also explains that he is still upset about the bike because he says that his son had told him that it was probably Joey who stole the bike. Joey says that he has purchased stolen property, but he never went to his house and stole anything. I wish Joey would just like come clean about it if he did steal it. I really don't know how to feel about this. Maybe you guys do. I just wish he'd come clean about it. But then the other piece of me is like, bro, it's been 15 years. Let it go. My God. Can you imagine being married to that man and you like forget his birthday one year or something? He will probably never let you live it down. Like, my God, let it go. It's 15 years ago. It's a damn dirt bike. It looked like he's too old to ride one anyway. Let it go, please. Now, the dad essentially says he just wants Kim to be happy and gives consent for him to marry her, which was him like, why didn't you ask me before you proposed? But the dad gonna say he still don't believe Joey about the bike. That he just hoping it work out for his daughter. The dad is never gonna let the bike go, y'all. I think we all know that. He's never gonna let it go. But I don't know. Kim is doing some things that I think will later become problematic, such as the air tags. What if Joey turns out to be this really good man and then finds out he's being GPS tracked everywhere he goes? No one likes gifts with strings. I'm just saying. All right, beautiful thugs, like the video. We're going to move on to the next couple, which is Bianca and Daniel. Bianca is talking to Daniel about his father because in the last episode, he asked her as how mentally stable are you? Because it's like, it's a valid question. You almost lost your life because your friend was driving drunk. So you went to seek out people convicted of DUIs because you were trying to understand their mindset. Ended up dating them. This is a trauma bond. This girl is young. She's sheltered. She's got a lot to learn. So she tells Daniel, she doesn't like what her dad said, and he says he don't like it as well, and that he's going to talk to his dad. And this is where her friend, who's helping her to pack, explains that she does not trust Daniel, and her friend starts dropping gems. Like, you're supposed to tell your friends the truth. I think that's how you gauge if you have a true friendship or not. And Bianca essentially is like, she's jealous of me. I'm like, oh my God. Ain't nobody jealous of you having a man in jail that you spending all this money to move to a hot ass desert to be with. Bianca, nobody is jealous. God help her, but we know she's a little bit of a dingbat. Just a little bit. Now, Bianca then says in another scene that Daniel proposed to her on the phone, and she considers them to be engaged. But she does not know if Daniel views them as engaged. I said, girl, if you believe that you're engaged, but you're unsure that your spouse is believes that they are engaged to you, then how can you believe that you are engaged? It just does not make sense. I guess we'll find out when Daniel gets free if these two are engaged because she is the Hot Mess Express and knows nothing. Now, they do a video visit together, and she basically is like, you've been acting funny, moving different. And he says that he's been anxious about getting out because he's terrified. He wants to stay sober. He's really struggled with that. And he also states that he feels lucky to have her. And this is where Bianca mentions that she is 23. She wants to have fun. She's going to have drinks from time to time, may want to finish a bottle of wine. And Daniel's like, I don't see the issue with that as long as it's not an everyday thing. She thinks that Daniel's being dramatic about the whole drinking thing, but what she doesn't understand is he has to protect his sobriety, and that's important. And if you love him, then you'll do everything in your power to support his sobriety. I'm just saying. If my husband suddenly had a problem with drinking, I'd never drink around him again. I wouldn't. That's what your girlfriends and girls trips are for. Why enable and potentially trigger somebody that you care about? You should want them to be successful in their sobriety. But Bianca's very young. She doesn't think well. And I don't think this relationship's going to work, but I feel like WeTV just has them here for entertainment, and they are entertaining. Now, Bianca then asked if he's going to have a job before he get out of jail. I'm like, girl, how the hell he's supposed to get a job before he get out? Is that a thing? Somebody tell me something, because I don't break the law. Sure don't. I don't do that. Um, but she wants him to get a job before, because she makes it very clear, and this is the one thing the whole episode she said that I respected. She ain't gonna spend her savings on that man, and as she should not. That's her money. If that ain't her husband, why spend it? So moving day arrives, and she's very emotional about leaving Florida. This is where we learned that before she was with Daniel, she was actually engaged very young. She was only 21 when she got pregnant and had a miscarriage. She also confirmed that her last partner was toxic. I think this young girl needs therapy. I don't think she needs to be with any man, but I can also tell that she's extremely hard headed, which is sad, but she definitely needs some therapy. Everything about the way that she moves and breathes, everything that she does, there's trauma everywhere. And you could tell she has not had much help and doesn't know what to do with it. A new environment can be good, but move to a new environment, Bianca, because you want to, not because of this man and your trauma. Please, girl. God bless her. Moving it on through. The last couple we gonna discuss. It's gonna be a fast recap, y'all. In and out. In and out. Julian and Christine. Now, y'all know Christine reminds me of an alpaca or a camel based on how she moved her mouth. It always looked like she chewing like a camel, just to the side. My husband said, wow, she can't stay still. I said, yep, she sure can't. Something wrong with her. Them drugs, either she's still on drugs or she had an accident while doing drugs, because this girl is just toe up from the flow up. Now, for some reason, Christine goes back to the scene of where she committed her crimes of the bank robberies because Julian wanted to see, which was strange. And she's uncomfortable, but she goes along with it, explains what she did. But she immediately gets nervous when she sees a cop car and scurries away. I said, girl, the cop car probably there because they probably learned it from what you did and how you got away. Now they're gonna have somebody on patrol. But did anybody else find it weird that Julian requested this? And then as we continue the episode, seeing how much of a secret he expects to keep her. The whole thing is strange to me. The whole thing is strange. Now, they are moving to Maryland. This is where his townhome is, where he lives. And she mentions how she grew up poor. And you could tell she just appreciates all the small things. The fact that she's not in a trailer, the fact that he has food. You know, in this moment, though, I do make fun of everybody because I talk too much shit and I don't know how to shut my mouth. I talk too much. That's why I'm here on YouTube. But I personally hope that she's able to stay sober and do better and think that a new environment can go well. But now I'm also concerned because we learned that Julian's ex does not know about Christine and he has kids of his own. And the way his custody agreement works is he gets his kids on Mondays and Tuesdays and then every other weekend. So when the kids come through, Christine, he says, has to just hide and stay upstairs away from the kids. She can't live in her house comfortably. And the reason why is because in order for her to meet the kids, she has to meet their mom, which is Julian's ex-wife first. And he has not done that. So he's going to have these kids in the house while hiding a whole woman upstairs. I'm looking at him with the side eye. I understand your family not knowing, but the mother of your kids, where your kids are living, they should absolutely know. And to have her there secretly might piss the mom off later down the line or break trust because it's like, how does she know you're not just always hiding something or someone? It's crazy for him to expect that. Now, he then goes from that to saying he hopes that she gets a job. And she's like, that ain't my main priority. And that's where I'm looking like, okay, they're in the real world. You know, I would have been like, you want me to get a job? Why don't you keep me from being a secret? Because what if I have a job interview on Monday or Tuesday? Where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? Hide? You know, so she could have used that as a thing, but it just don't seem like she want to work. I think she want to be spoiled. Uh, but she was gonna get into some like nookie time, and then it looked like she was entirely turned off because she got asked about a job. Listen, the girl was robbing banks before because she didn't want to work for money. I'm telling you, I don't trust that these people will be able to make it anymore. I didn't in the first place because we knew that he was keeping secrets, but seems like she's been an open book and he's the red flag, which is different in inmate, you know, relationships. But we will see what happens with them on the next episode. I felt like this episode was okay. You could tell it was a little bit of a filler or buffer to get us to the next, scene of events that's going to happen next week. But I appreciate everybody who tunes in, who's watching us when we're no longer live. The replay gang was good, Thug Life. Everybody who watches us while we're live, I appreciate you. We will be back again next week on Saturday to go over the next episode of Love After Lockup. Yes, we also recap Life After Lockup once it returns. I also do other recaps that include other co-hosts, Frank James from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel. We'll be on his channel later on today to recap the Braxtons as well as Family Empire Houston. But I appreciate everybody. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next one. Be sure to comment some suggestions for shows also if you'd like to see me recap a different show. Anywho, love and light to you all, and I'll see you again next week.